Kuwait is a country of fierce pride and patriotism. It's also been a close UK ally for over a century. British troops from 3 Rifles, part of 51st Infantry Brigade, have spent the last few weeks in the country on Exercise Desert Warrior. The joint training is aimed at giving Kuwait the skills to fight invasion or extremism.
Well, we're sending a signal that we're stronger together. We're sending a signal to the region that the British forces are firm friends and not fair weather friends, and that we can come to our friends at times when they want us to, as well as times when we want to. So it's very much a mutual decision.
Mubarak the Great aligned Kuwait with Britain at the turn of the 20th century. There's been mutual support ever since. Oil dominates the economy, but instability isn't far away. Highway 80 leads from Kuwait City to Basra. This is one of the main routes in Kuwait, which connects Kuwait City in the south with the Iraqi border in the north. It's also the site of some of the most famous and iconic images of the Gulf War. Firstly, this was the route that the Iraqi forces used to invade the city and the country in 1990. And then just a few months later, it was the site of the deadly 100-hour ground attack, which ended the war. Saddam Hussein's invasion ran into Operation Desert Storm. The British called it Operation Granby. 53,000 British troops fought in the biggest deployment since the Second World War.
Go left, go left. Looking for them.
For months, aircraft from the 15-country-strong coalition targeted the Iraqi forces, grinding them down. In 1990, Greene was an RAF air-to-air refueller, flying high over the desert.
You hear stories about there wasn't a single Iraqi division in Kuwait that had its full artillery left when our guys crossed the border. And we had, on all occasions, reduced the enemy forces to below that 50% level. So a fairly successful air campaign to set up the conditions for land to do their stuff.
The land campaign was dominated by heavy armour. It took just 3 days and nights to liberate Kuwait. The aftermath was striking. 12 years later came the invasion of Iraq, a less clear-cut conflict. British forces got a very different fight from the one they'd expected. But it was a campaign where Kuwait provided a launch pad from which to support operations.
People in the Gulf realised the importance of alliances, of friendships, of old friendships. And this is where the UK and Kuwait have something very deep. And the Kuwaitis have a huge empathy and wish to do more with the UK.
Desert Warrior is the first in a new cycle of British training exercises for a Kuwaiti military that are determined to be prepared.
We are ready always. We have the support and cooperation of friendly troops from Britain and from the USA. We are ready for any threat coming from any place.
The Prime Minister recently declared Gulf security is our security, and Kuwait could be central to that policy. Ali Gibson, Forces News on the Udari Ranges.